All right.
It's good to be back with you. It's good to be back with you.
Thank you. I love interviews because I love to talk.
The first one we did really got a lot of traction on Instagram and YouTube and places like that. So it makes sense to do it again.
All right. You ready to start?
Let's go. I would greatly appreciate it if you could start talking about your new app that just came out. I think that's the perfect place to start.
Oh, yeah. Slow Jam app for iTunes people. That's Apple. It's available and I'm broadcasting right now live. Google's a different animal for me. And it says, the guy that I deal with says it starts in the next couple of days. So you'll be able to see it at the Google Play Store. But right now, you can see it at the iTunes Store, Slow Jam app. And I don't know why I ever dropped it years ago, but it's back. And hold on, let me show you. See,
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
so on the left is my library, 5,713 songs. At the right is the playlist. I insert some of those or most of those. When I get a request, I just pop it right in there.
I like that. That's an awesome setup, like software. You got to
Oh,
put
yes.
Snoop Dogg on there.
I recommend this to anybody. It's called Megaseg.
Okay.
And most people use Serato, but this is very intuitive. So
Right.
now I have it by title. So if I want to take a lot of time, do it by time, I go here. Then when I'm on the phone, like now, I can put this and then I double click this and go, that goes up top. So
Right.
that gives
Right.
me 7 minutes to talk to you. And but I already have music set up. See, I go down here till the end and it'll tell me I'm good till 4 o'clock tomorrow.
There you go.
So that's how Megaseg works. And I just love it. It's very intuitive.
Now, what
If
what
you,
is the story behind? Why did it take so long for the new app to come out? What's the story behind the app and all of that?
when you apply for an app, you gotta send them pictures of, and it has to be in the right pixels for the app picture. And that was a holdup. Then you just have to go through different steps. And apparently I completed them all, except for Google, which I think I've done all that too. So yeah, I'm happy.
What is your opinion on the response of our last interview the other couple weeks ago? A lot of people hit
Oh
you up
yeah.
about that.
Oh yeah, tremendous. Yeah, it was really, really good. But how about on your end? You would know, right?
Yeah, a lot. Like I said, corrupt reposted one of the clips. Um, I got in contact with the DOC now, so
Oh,
me and him might sit down and do one of these.
oh yeah.
Um,
If you can, shoot me his number. I haven't talked to DOC in a long time.
I would as soon as I get it, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Any help that I could do, I'm all for, sir.
Yeah, so pretty much all of the players in rap I know, Dre, Snoop, Ice Cube, and you see pictures that I posted online, and sometimes try to remember where were those, and most of them were at 92.3 of the beat
Right.
when I worked there. So that's when I kind of worked with them. Well, I did because Tupac, everybody came to Can-Am Studios, which is really starting place for all the stuff I've done. And it's in Tarzana, California. Can-Am, the CAN-AM studios. And Tarzana is very small. I mean, you would drive by there and go like, "Oh, I wonder what that is." Very inconspicuous. But that's where we all went. That's where I recorded the little thing for the track Smooth. That's where I tracked all my stuff for Snoop Dogg on his albums. And when I went there back in the day, I think the studio's still open, but it's not with the same players or the people coming there. So I went there. Not that I'm a big player, but
Right.
uh,
You also.
Dr. Dre used to have a studio in there. He doesn't work out of there anymore. Every time I would go there, I'd walk by his studio and he'd go, Kevin, come on in. I go, mm-mm, you're working magic. If I get in the way, I'm going to feel bad. So I always declined to go in there. That's where I met Tupac. Tupac recorded there. My favorite artist, by the way, a rapper at least, Tupac. And they're still trying to unravel the mystery of his demise. So I don't know if they'll ever completely figure it out. But I also worked for 92.3 The Beat with Easy E. And probably my favorite person, Easy E. Good name, because he was very easy. He was easy to talk to, and he shared so many stories with me. And I think, I'm not saying he didn't interact with other people at the beat, but he and I had a special relationship. And he had an office right in the sales area of the beat. So I'd go there and talk to him. Sometimes we talk an hour, hour and a half. He says to me one time, Kevin, do you know why other rappers hate me? And I go, I didn't know that was a possibility. He goes, oh, they do. I said, tell me why. He said, because I make all the money. They are going after women, cars, homes, whatever. He said, I went after the money. And I said, where is the money? He goes, publishing. This is important for other artists that are watching this. The publishing is where the money's at. That's where you make the money. I wish I'd listened to him, but I didn't have enough songs out there or whatever to get into the publishing end of it. But that is the money trail.
Now,
Then
do you get royalties from Smooth and other tracks, or are they just sort of just you're on there, you know?
I think I'm just on there.
Right, right,
I don't think I get royalties. If I got something from something that was $8,
right, right,
I already spent that money.
right.
$8. But now these days, I work with Daz Dillinger, and I worked with him for a long time. He's one half of the Dog Pound, and the other half is Corrupt, where I have probably a more special relationship with Corrupt because I met him when I was I met him actually at Snoop's compound, but he's from Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia, not originally, but Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, too, Philadelphia. And here's the story. Uh, I met him in Philadelphia, and I think some people have not agreed with me, but I think his label was called Wall Street Records in Philadelphia by the Delaware River. We ate cheesesteaks, had a good time. God bless my mom. She had no idea about rap music or about any music. Nobody in my family, other than my sister, who liked jazz, knew anything about music. But here I am, a DJ, and I love music. And the reason behind that, listening to radio in Philadelphia, I always listen to an R&B station. Not that I remember what it is. I said, I like this music. It's slow, but it feels live, and it was live back in those days. In the '70s, music was live musicians, and that's another thing. When you listen to music from the '70s, that's real musicians. When you got into the '80s, it became digital. I don't know if most people, if their ears are trained to tell the difference. huge difference from a live performance to a digital keyboard. And I compare that to a meal, eating McDonald's or a home cooked meal. I think people want a home cooked meal. So that's my analogy there. And it's odd because I just gravitated to that type of music. And I never wanted to be a DJ. I never thought about being a DJ, but Philadelphia, graduated, went to live with my aunt in Youngstown, Ohio, then went back to Philadelphia, finished my I went to South High School, by the way, in Youngstown, Ohio. Bad, great song, not great song, great school because I just loved it there. But I was the only white student. Never had a problem. They closed that school down.
Right.
It was too dangerous, but I liked it. That being of a different color, nobody ever bothered me. It was people talk about racism and reverse racism. There is no such thing as a reverse racism. Racism is just racism,
Right.
no matter what it is to who. But anyway, that was a good experience for me. I ended up going back to Philadelphia and finished my education at Northeast High School, back to Youngstown, Ohio, to live with my aunt there. And then I said, it's time to choose a career. I had no idea. I joined the Army. Uh, One incident, they had a guy just run into the classroom and run out. And then us soldiers had to describe that person, but we didn't know they were going to run in there. They just ran in there. I did the best. I said, because you know what to do when somebody just comes in and goes out? You look for recognizable features that would be different. Not a mustache, not a beard. Oh, look, you got a mustache and a beard. So you look for a distinguishing characteristic, maybe a tattoo or whatever. Tattoos there. I got tattoos,
Right.
and that's what you look for.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So if you're, in some kind of a situation, when you take a look, and it might be quick, make sure that you can really observe that person. Maybe they did something wrong or whatever. That's one thing is, uh, tattoos or things like that, or facial scars, that way in a lineup, you can recognize that person.
I wanna ask you because I saw that you were given a plaque from the state of California for appreciation. It was
That
something.
was San Diego Mayor Faulkner gave me not the key to the city, but a plaque for my work on the Quiet Storm at Magic 92.5. Then I got a second plaque from the mayor, Marion Bowser, in Washington, D.C., for being at WKYS. So I have two plaques. I don't have two plaques. I earned two plaques, but in moving, they're all gone. So you're gonna have to take my word for it.
Right.
I think I actually have a picture uh, on Instagram of me accepting my plaque. In fact, I have a video accepting my plaque from Kevin Faulkner. I was
Right.
trying to remember his name. Kevin. My name's Kevin. Kevin Faulkner.
There's a video out there, and I was like, this is pretty badass. And I was like, I forgot to ask you about that the first time. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it was interesting because I know how I am. I talk to everybody the same. I've been to the White House. I've met the president. And I talk to everybody the exact same way, like they're a friend. And you establish a friend by setting up a rapport. Let me set up a rapport with you. Hey, is that a sweater? What are you wearing exactly?
I'm wearing a black sweater with a black snapback.
I like that. See what I just did there? I am not investigating you or interrogating you. I complimented you. So when you're interrogating somebody, you pick out something like I just did with you, and you go, "Oh, wow, you like that? Yeah." So then they're at ease, and you can ask them anything you want.
Do
Yeah,
you know Papa Loke?
that's Keys.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and he's been with Snoop, and he used to do guard work for Jasmine, who's the main person with Snoop. And he's been to some events that he was the guard for a thing that Jasmine does called what's her little thing called the soul therapy. These are little events.
So yes, okay. Jasmine Ratanzi,
Right?
right?
Yes,
Right.
exactly. And pretty much these days, wherever Snoop goes, she goes.
Okay.
She was in Italy when he went there. Everywhere.
How did she her and there's another woman named Sarah
Or
Ramacker?
Ramaker or Raymaker, yeah. She's kind of like the person I get in touch with if I want clothing.
Okay.
She might be ahead of or somehow something to do with Snoopy's clothing store on in Inglewood. Yeah, I know. I need to get a hold of her. I need some stuff.
Are these business people or are these people that he's known for a long time?
That's a good question. Uh, I think he knows them all. I mean, Jasmine. Not sure how they met, but she's a good one.
Right.
Snoop's a good one. They're all good people.
They have to be at this point. They have to be.
Oh yeah, you have to be with people you trust
Right.
and respect.
Right.
And that's what I do in life. I give people love and respect. And what else can you ask from somebody?
What was the story of one of the things we missed last time was the game.
The game. My wife and I went to an event in Long Beach, and something to do with oh, had to do with death row. And I was supposed to speak that day on the stage, but the sound system went goofy. But anyway, we're walking, my wife and I said to Will, who was the security guard for the game, and security with Snoop's camp, and I said, I always wanted to meet the game. He goes, well, he's standing right next to you. I went, game. It's Kevin Slow Jam and James. And they were moving fast, because they were doing a security thing. He stopped, and his security people almost ran him over. He said to me, as my wife was standing there, I don't stop for anybody except God and Kevin Slow Jam and James. It was hilarious. Still trying to reach him. I probably can. I don't know. I probably have his number, but
He seems like one of the most genuine guys there.
yeah.
To be honest with you.
So that was the game story. You know who I like? The Baltimore Ravens.
You know what? That's not a bad pick. I hope
That's a
you're not
lie.
lying.
That's a lie.
Okay.
I'm a Steeler fan
Okay.
the whole life. So I want to see if you would buy that.
Well, the Ravens aren't that bad. There's respect there. They're not that bad.
But they're the evil enemy in the AFC North. They're all enemies of the Steelers.
Right.
Are
Right.
you a Steeler fan?
I'm a Steeler fan. You know what? The Eagles ain't bad neither, but it's Steelers. But you know what? I was telling one of my buddies this the other day. I think the Steelers have the best colorway for a team in the whole NFL. Black and yellow.
I like black and gold. I like the term gold, but black and yellow, yeah.
Black and gold like that. You got I don't know what team got a better colorway than that. Maybe the
Yeah.
Vikings, maybe, but
Yeah, but you know, it's the only team that only has the logo on one side of their helmet. And those colors on the helmet represent the makings of steel.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know that about the helmet though. I never noticed that.
Yeah. The sticker, the label, whatever's on there, is on the one side of the helmet. I think it's the only team in the NFL that has that.
The one thing that is, I'm assuming all teams do this. I don't pay attention to football too outside of the Steelers, to be honest. But they change the jersey color every once in a while, every couple years or something. And I
Yes.
remember back when I was maybe 2011, something like that, they changed the jerseys to like a gray. Something. It was some year like that.
Yeah, that was those alternative uniforms
Right. Right.
that were ugly.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. That's
Oh my
exactly
God.
what
I
I was
said
going.
it was the Bumblebee shirt or something like that. Oh my God.
That's
That was,
so I'm so glad you know exactly what I'm talking about because that was that was a crazy season.
yeah, they could have picked anything. I said, please, no. And they wore them. And I said, no, 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 you're not going to win because you look ugly.
Is it now I'm not inclined in this. Don't be too hard on me for this. Is it possible? I was told it's not. Is it possible for the Steelers and the Eagles to get into a Super Bowl with each other, or because it's the same state? It's
Oh,
not.
oh yeah,
Okay.
because the Super Bowl is the AFC and the NFC. Steelers are on the AFC and the Eagles are at the NFC.
Okay.
That's who plays in the Super Bowl.
Right.
So there is a distinct possibility.
Okay.
Now, me, I grew up in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania. Then we moved to Philadelphia. But my family's always my family. So I was always a Steeler fan. People in Philadelphia didn't like that, but my friends, I go, that's who I am.
Right.
That's who I represent. I'm on the album, or I'm mentioned on the album. What's the name of the song by Dr. Dre? City of Compton,
With the one with
uh,
the California Love.
California Love.
Right.
So in that song, they mentioned slow jam. So somebody recognized me because I created the name Slow Jam.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I love that song. That's probably my favorite rap song.
California
Oh,
Love is that one. Yeah.
and that's Tupac.
Right.
And I knew Tupac, always going back to Can-Am Studios. That's where I met him. Very nice, very calm. We were waiting at the desk to go in to record in different studios. And he gave me the cap off his head, but I gave it to someone. Woman. Okay. So I don't have that. Not that I could have proven that it was his, unless I had a DNA test. And they went, "Hey, that belonged to Tupac."
Right. Right.
But he was great.
Do you have a
And,
favorite movie he was in? My favorite one he did was Poetic Justice.
oh yeah, Poetic Justice. Yeah, he was very good in that.
Juice and Above the Rim or right there, I think as well.
Yeah,
Gridlocked, gang related. Yeah, those are basically the main ones that I would talk about.
the only rap artist that I'm not into, he's probably the biggest one is Drake.
Drake is cool. I like Drake.
Yeah, his music I'm just okay with. It's just different.
What is it? Is it because he mixes singing with rapping? Is that could be why?
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I just don't listen to it.
Right,
Kendrick Lamar, huge.
right, right.
All these guys out of Compton.
Not like us. Well, not like us came out, man. That was nuts.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, I like Not Like Us. That's a great one.
right.
And I spent a lot of time in Compton because that's where I get my hair cut by Donald DC, the barbarism. I'm just throwing a plug for Donald. Barbarism in Compton. And that's where we go get my hair cut.
Is that October London's barber?
Yes, yeah. And I think there was a picture of him cutting his hair.
Okay. Okay.
I, but anyway, he's in Compton. Seems like everybody I know is from Compton.
Right.
And October London, just as long as we mention October London. Yeah, 2015, I went into Snoop's studio, the mothership, and they were playing a song called Love in the Summer. I said, man, I really like that. I really like that. So I looked over to this guy, kind of a thin, about my same height, handsome man. I said, is that you? He goes, that's me. I said, who are you? He said, October London. I said, okay, small talk's over. Can I have that song? And I was recording it at Snoop's compound. So he sent it to me. I had it on the radio 5 minutes later. Go on the radio, and I said, I haven't done this ever before, but I'm telling you, this guy I just played, his name is October London, is going to be a huge star. And I said, I'm promising you this. If he's not, I will quit radio because that means I'm a fraud. I don't know anything about music. Well, I'm still doing radio.
Right.
So I was right. And I think I talk on one of his songs, but he's fantastic and sounds like Marvin Gaye. Then he has a country guy, Sam Snead, calls himself. That's his country persona. But he's really become really big.
My favorite track he did was it's called "I Want You."
Yeah, that's an old Marvin Gaye song.
That was so fly.
Yeah, but he did the rebirth of Marvin because he sounds like Marvin Gaye.
Right. Right.
Then
Right.
he went into a different direction, did his own music. One song he did called Don't Go.
Okay. Okay.
And that song was by Dream Boy. I was playing it on Snoop's station, and Snoop called me. He goes, "What did you just play?" I said, "Dream Boy, Don't Go." He said, "Can you send that to me?" And that was years ago when you weren't able to find songs that quick. Now you can just go to iTunes and buy them. So I sent him the song. Then all of a sudden, like 3 weeks later, they came out with a movie. And the theme, I don't remember the name of the movie. The theme of the song playing it throughout it was Don't Go, a Dream Boy. So vicariously, I had something to do with that.
Did you have a favorite track by the game or album, maybe?
No, I'm not that familiar with his music, but I just remember that particular point.
Right. I obviously the documentary is up there, but he has it's called the Red Album. I don't know if you ever came across that, but I recommend the Red Album too.
Okay, but I like the game. I mean, as a person, I just don't know his music, to be
Right.
honest with you.
Right. Like I said from the last podcast interview we did, there was a lot of people that reposted and liked it. Has anybody reached out to you in regards to any specific questions they had for you, or
That last video did wonders, it expanded my horizons.
did it? Okay.
Yeah, tremendously. So thank you for that. Now this one God knows what this one's going to do.
Right. You never know who's watching. That's what I've learned from people like you is you never know who's watching what you're doing.
Yeah, and then we talked about Daz and Corrupt, and they're my favorites, and especially Corrupt because of Philadelphia. So I'm going to talk to him probably the next day or so. But because of our link to Philadelphia, it's special. My mom knew nothing about music, to be honest with you. But But I was proud of myself for being on the track smooth. I sent her a CD player. I might be repeating our last interview, but it was funny. And a CD. She listens to it. I call her and I said, "What'd you think?" She goes, "I liked it." Now keep in mind the profanity laced excerpts on Smooth. She goes, "I really liked it, but I don't like your language." I said, "What do you mean?" You said shit. I said, "Yeah." She said, "My son doesn't talk like that." I said, "Mom, guess what? I do. Even worse than that." She goes, "Other than that, I liked it."
Right, right, right.
So that was hilarious. She just,
I like the I want to show you something actually.
okay.
And I hope you know off the cuff exactly what I got two things to show you actually. We got George Clinton do Friday steak.
Ah, yeah. I have a signed poster
That's badass. You told me
from
that
WKYS. Yeah,
that's badass.
and he drew a caricature of himself.
Right, right.
Yeah,
The you said the dog, I think it was.
yeah,
That's badass, man.
yeah. The atomic dog. Yeah.
And then the
What else? What
second
else you got?
we got Change, the Glow of Love record.
Yeah, that's Change was Luther Vandross.
Right, right,
So Change, eventually Luther became just Luther.
right.
I was a designated driver, so to speak. FBI story. Uh, while I was at the Pentagon PCF, Pentagon Counterintelligence Force, in a stairwell, um, I met an FBI agent. And he goes, "I lost my weapon. There's nothing worse you can do. You lose your weapon, you lose your job." Somehow he couldn't get around the Pentagon because I knew every entrance because it is a Pentagon, 10 side, but I knew all the stairwells. I said, "Tell me where you were." And I led him to where he was, and he found his weapon. Don't know his name. Did I save his job? Oh yeah.
When you're in there, you hear all the stuff come out today about aliens and things like that. Was there any
No,
sort of
but
information?
that intrigues me about all of that
Right,
stuff.
right,
Um, but I wasn't deep inside the FBI or the CIA. I just remember going there.
right,
Even though I have a good memory, I can't even visually remember how it looked.
right.
Then we get to clearances. So in your mind, what's the top clearance? Not confidential.
What would be the highest on that?
I might not be able to say this, but I'm saying it anyway. There's confidential, secret, top secret, cito, cento. I had all those clearances.
Okay,
We were following a guy that allegedly sold secrets to the Russians. This was a very intense, what do you call it, surveillance. And we were armed, of course, wearing suits. We had credit cards, uh, had everything we needed. And plus, all airlines were alerted to us about us. So if he got on a flight, we went wherever he would go. I'm saying to myself, how about a trip to Hawaii? Come on, go to Hawaii. But he never left DC. But at some point, he knew we were trailing him, even though we had a different rent a car every day. But you know when somebody's following you,
Right, right,
you got to think called a rear view mirror.
right.
Even though we changed cars, he knew he was being chased or followed. I remember driving 100 miles per hour across the one of those bridges in DC. 100 miles an hour. I said, my guy next to me, Cliff Young, Sergeant Cliff Young, was hiding underneath the dashboard. I said, I ain't going to lose him. And eventually, he goes to Fort Myer, Virginia, the base that I was based out of. I said, oh, home base. So then he's just sitting there in his car. We have the little earpieces on, and I go in to get a Hostess Ho Ho. It's my ho ho story, not a Hostess Ho Ho. I'm in there. Well, the clerk saw my weapon. He goes, is this a robbery? I said, no, 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 no. And I had to show my badge and all that. At that point, I hear my ear, he's on the move. I went, oh, no, no. He was on the move. I'm standing outside of Fort McNair eating a ho ho, saying, I'm going to be reprimanded. I was just shaking like a leaf. Well, 20 minutes went by and they came back and picked me up. I said, are we okay? Oh, we're okay. Never knew what happened to that guy. Was he a traitor? Was this or that? But they don't let you know. There's a thing called need to know. You only need to know your assignment. Other people know the other parts. So you never know the whole story.
Right. It's
That's my
very.
close.
It's interesting how they move like that.
What's that?
It's very interesting how they move like that, but
Yeah.
it makes sense for security reasons.
Yeah. It's like putting a puzzle together. You're only given so many pieces. And
Right.
that's like your knowledge is only what your assignment is. But those days, that's when I really learned about being followed. And this is really good advice to a woman or anybody. Do you think somebody's following you? Go to a store, the window, like you're shopping, and look in that mirror or in that window, and you'll see a reflection or not a reflection. If somebody's behind you, you go like, hmm. Then you go to another window. That same person's behind you. Then you know you're being followed. The other thing is when you go on an elevator, this is good advice for anybody. If they ask you what floor, don't tell them. And say, what floor are you going? Oh, well, I'm going on 3. I said, okay, then you pick 5. If they stay on the elevator to 5, that means they're following you.
Right. Right. I have to. I have to ask for like a comedic reason. You like those ho hos, those hostess ho hos? You like those snowballs?
Not anymore. I don't eat sweets anymore. I'm diabetic.
Right.
So no more candy. No more. I did like them at the time, but it's too sweet for me.
Right.
I don't know if they make them anymore. Ho-hos?
Yeah, they make the ho hos. I like the snowballs. I like that
Oh,
marshmallow. You know.
oh, yeah. I used to love those, but because of my medical condition, I can't do that. And when I taste that stuff, it doesn't taste good to me anymore.
It tastes like just junk, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want to send me a lemon meringue pie, that's my only
Hey,
guilty. What?
those are amazing. Those are amazing.
You know why? Lemon, they used to give you lemon drops at the end of a meal. It soothes your palate. Lemon is very good to kind of eliminate whether ever taste is in your mouth.
I didn't know. I never would have known that. But
Yeah.
you're right. But you're right.
And let me tell you another thing, young man. I'm going to tell you about fast food restaurants, McDonald's, In-N-Out Burger. They all have some semblance of a color scheme of red and yellow,
Okay.
right?
You're
Wendy's,
correct.
all red and yellow. Why is that? Because those colors stimulate your brain and your taste buds. Like, oh, there's a correlation between the color and your taste buds.
It's like a mental thing.
It's a
Right.
mental thing. Yeah.
Right.
Because you'll go like, oh, and they're all the same color scheme. So it has something to do mentally, like you're saying. Ooh,
I will say this though, you are right on that front. But for McDonald's, when you walk into a McDonald's now, it's all gray. You ever notice that?
I don't go over there anymore.
When you go into McDonald's, uh, you're right. You're right with what you're saying. I'm just giving you a side note, but it's interesting how why they wouldn't have the inside as bright as the outside is. I guess that's how they get you in. I guess I don't know.
Then why do they have the playground outside?
Right, right. I played on the McDonald's playground when I was a kid. Man, that was awesome times.
Yeah, but
I
that
love
was that was genius.
right,
Let the kids play, and then that'd be a good reason you want to go to McDonald's. The kids want to go.
right.
They get to play.
Did you have a favorite fast food item there?
I don't like McDonald's anymore, but I do have a question for you. Ronald McDonald.
Right.
Who was the first Ronald McDonald?
Like the real actor.
Not, not an actor.
I think he was a weatherman, right?
He was the weatherman for NBC. Uh, something Scott. Yeah.
That's crazy. I haven't thought of that in 10 years. That's crazy.
See, you have a good memory thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, Willard Scott. He was the weatherman for NBC, and he was also Ronald McDonald.
I'm gonna feel that on my spine all day today. I don't know how I thought about that. That's crazy. You're right.
Yep.
Grimace. You had Grimace. You had the Hamburglar as well.
Yeah.
Those were cartoon characters, but yeah, that Big Mac. I don't eat McDonald's too much anymore, but that Big Mac still hits. They made it smaller though, but
Yeah, and then sometimes you read the ingredients and you go like, "That's not real meat." So now I'm very conscious of it because of my wife. Problem is she cooks too good. I can't eat out anywhere.
right, right, right,
Then you start researching, the beef, is it really beef? Do you ever research that?
right. Yeah, yes, I do. Yep.
And some of it's not good.
I will say, in Alabama, do you guys have Arby's down there?
Yes, we got everything
Arby's,
here.
Arby's is. I like Arby's.
My cousin Jack, opened the first Arby's ever in Pittsburgh.
Really? Okay.
That was my cousin. I don't know any more than he opened the Arby's.
Really? Do you know what Arby's stands for?
A roast beef sandwich.
America's roast beef. Yes, sir.
I was just taking a guess.
The Did you ever have Hardee's or Carl's Jr.?
We don't have Carl's Jr. Um, I don't know if we have Hardee's or not. Once again, I'm spoiled by my wife. I only like her cooking.
How good of a lemon meringue pie does she whip up?
Oh, yeah. Love lemon meringue pie, but that's the only, I don't even eat ice cream.
Really? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. When you get away from something, and like I don't drink Coke, I don't drink Pepsi, uh, ginger ale. That's my only drink. And it's too strong. I have to mix it with mineral water.
Okay.
That's how I get my water intake.
I could totally understand that. I can understand that. When you're DJing in Snoop's compound, do you have any good stories or memories that are highlights from specifically in that building?
Because that's where I did my shows, and I started doing them from home, even though I
Right.
was walking distance in Westchester, California. I had walking distance capability to the compound, but I just miss it. I still call the people that work there, the security guards, and try to talk to Snoop. And I really loved working out of there. And the funny thing is, places like TMZ, whatever, they don't hang around. You think they would know, with the internet, you would know where it is, but nobody comes there.
Do you think you'll ever go back to the compound one day?
Yes,
Okay.
because I miss Shantae, boss lady, Snoop's
Right.
wife.
Right.
His sons, we talk, Corday, Corey, his
Right.
daughter.
Right. You know what's so interesting is uh I met this girl a couple years ago. She's from Kenya. Kevin, she's bad as hell. And she really cool girl, very nice. But her nickname is Boss Lady. So every time I talk to her, I think of Snoop's wife because
Yeah,
just a legendary nickname, man.
yeah. And she now is his manager. There was a
That
guy, that,
that's
that
called
was,
lucking out. That's
yeah,
lucking out.
yeah. Well, maybe that's just her being nice and nosy. No, she wants to make sure his business is right.
Right.
And he had a great guy before named Ted Chung, who was his manager.
Okay.
But now it's all in the family, all within the compound. And I'm trying to get a hold of Corday. He's a singer, a rapper now.
Right.
But I liked him not the most, but we had interesting conversations. He was very spiritual. And I love that about him.
I can understand that. I can understand that.
Cordell is a great businessman. And Corey is just really, really sweet.
Right.
And she used to love the skit that Liam Nielsen used to do from Taken. Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
And she says, "Do the thing, do the thing." I said, "Okay, I know who you are. I know where you live. I will find you. And I will kill you." She go, "Thank you."
That's almost one of one right there to Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
I like how he's from just from my perspective. I like how you said it's in the family now. Like it's more organized. It's more protected. The ice cream. Have you seen the Dr. Bombay, the blow up of the ice cream?
oh yeah, because Doctor Bombay is Cordell's creation.
Right, right. But isn't Bombay a term for weed in the 90s?
I don't know that. It could, but
I think it is.
I'm not a weed guy. But Doctor Bombay, I don't like the character.
The monkey or
Yeah,
whatever, the
I
ape.
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, but I love everybody in the family.
right.
There's not anybody I ever had a problem with, and I think you saw my dogs before, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
So the smaller one, not the fat one, uh, came from the compound. A guy named AC, who's a security guard at the compound. I bought my JoJo from him. I call him the compound dog.
That's badass. Now, what was did they come with the name JoJo or did you name the
Oh
dog?
no, no, no. JoJo was just a puppy,
Okay, right.
and I named him Joe, and I said, "No, I like JoJo." So he became JoJo.
JoJo is
Now,
better than Joe. Man.
and the other one's name is Junior.
Every dog I've ever had Like if there's a problem, they're right there. So I don't know. It's hard when they have to go. Like I don't understand it. I never understood death. But it's that energy that you never forget.
Yeah. And when you get a second dog, there's no guarantee that the two will get along. Junior and JoJo, who you saw in this video, are inseparable. I never see one without the other unless he's in the bed sleeping. They sleep in a bed. Dog beds don't work. They just chew them.
This is true. This is very true. That's very true.
And you know dogs, why they chew socks, t-shirts, and caps?
I don't. I don't know that.
You will now know. That's where you sweat. So your cap has sweat on it. Your t-shirt will have, sweat on it. You know, anything that has sweat, that's why they chew it. And when they're young and you crate train them, you put something in there with your odor, not a cat, but like when we raised JoJo in the crate, we put a T-shirt, one of my T-shirts, because it has your. That way they think, oh, I'm with you, even though they're in the cage.
That's very interesting. I did not know that. But that makes it make more sense then.
Yeah.
Right.
So for all intent and purpose, you're in the cage with them.
Yeah. This is true. I learned a lot today from you from just about life.
Yeah.
Didn't
Then
expect this today.
can we talk about color?
Emotions.
No, no. I grew up in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, as you well know.
Right.
Not one African American person. There was one Latina woman in all of Punxsutawney. That was back then. And my dad was in the scrap iron business, and I'd go ride with him sometimes. And one day we see a black man. I go, Dad, what's that? Only on TV did I see a black man, but back then it was black and white TV. He goes, that's a black man, son. I go, wow, that's interesting. That stayed in my mind. I was only like maybe 8 years old at the time, but I was fascinated by a black man. And not many people, I think, grew up not seeing a black man, right? In person. So I saw this black man in person. I wasn't prejudiced. My dad, I don't know if he was prejudiced. My mom was, but that's because my sister was dating us. Whatever. That's another story for another time, which I won't tell anyway.
Right. Right.
But there's a term called no color lines that was thought up by KMEL in San Francisco. They came up with the slogan, no color lines. It's brilliant. That means you're not prejudiced against any color. And I'm not prejudiced against any color of skin. I'm not prejudiced against gay. I'm not prejudiced against anything. I accept everybody. Some of the best stories I ever had was with homeless people. One time in LA, a homeless guy was asking for some money, and he goes, "Oh, you're Kevin Slow Jammin' James." I go, like, "How do you even know that?" And another story, my friend Al and I were at a McDonald's, speaking of McDonald's, and a guy comes up to me, a homeless guy, and he said, "Can you give me some change?" I said, "You're being rude." And I would have said this to anybody. We're having a conversation. That's rude that you would just come up and interrupt us like that. So he went away down to the street. My friend Al said, "I can't believe you talked to him like that." I go, "Well, that was rude. It doesn't matter who comes up to us. You say, 'Excuse me, can I talk to you?'" We finish our meal. I go in and buy 3 hamburgers. I go down there, I give it to him. I said, I didn't mean to yell at you, but that was rude. And he says, I understand. That was rude of me. And I said, here's food. I gave him a lot of food.
Right. Right.
So we learn lessons from people all over the world. And, in this particular case, I taught him a lesson and he really appreciated it.
I think we should end on that note, sir, on the recording. But
Okay.
I have a couple questions for you. I want to ask you right after I end this because I would definitely like your wisdom on something.
Okay. Thank you. Slowjamjames@me.com. SLOWJAMJAMES at me.com. Because I love hearing from people. You hear from people. I hear from people. And I'll pass along what I hear from other people back to you.
Sounds good.
Go Steelers. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
All right.